I'm sure Nintendo has their clock set next year for the Switch 2 release, and apparently they have the clock speeds on the Switch 2 set super low. It is Sunday, so let's get sensational. I'm Mike, and we got more Switch 2 rumors this week. So last week we talked about the latest rumor, which is Nintendo's next system is going to have magnetically attaching Joy-Cons. Well, we got a new rumor, not about the hardware this time, but about the performance of the Switch 2. This is being reported via the Broken Silicon podcast on the Moore's Law is Dead YouTube channel. The Switch 2 reportedly be clocked very low while in handheld mode to get better battery life and keep the fan quieter, and then in docked mode it'll be able to clock way higher. Now this is basically what the current Switch already does, so it sounds pretty reasonable that the next gen system would operate the same way. They also mentioned that they expect Xbox Series S levels of ray tracing on their new console. Personally, I don't think it being clocked low will be a big deal, especially if they're running at a low resolution in handheld mode. It's also rumored that the system will have some form of DLSS with NVIDIA's custom chip that they're developing for it. So DLSS is basically NVIDIA's proprietary upscaling technology. So let's say in docked they're running at 1080p or 1440p, then they can upscale to 4K, and maybe in handheld they do 720p still, but they upscale it to 1080. So with the upscaling, it could make a huge difference in performance. But at this point, I just want to see what this thing is and get hands-on with it. Speaking of getting my hands on something, GitHub is a popular place to get your hands on some digital content, and well, Nintendo caught wind of that. So last week we talked about Nintendo issuing a bunch of DMCA takedowns to Gary's mod. While the rampage continues, they have issued over 8,000 DMCA takedowns to GitHub. Now this is related to that recent lawsuit where they had with the creators of the Switch emulator, Yuzu, in which the Yuzu creators, well, they folded it faster than a $20 launch here. They basically agreed that their platform unintentionally damaged Nintendo and took all of their emulators down, while Nintendo is issuing these takedown requests for any content that references code from Yuzu. And since Yuzu settled the lawsuit and the creators claimed that there was wrongdoing, there's not much here to argue, so GitHub is giving developers time to update their content and to remove any code related to Yuzu, or it'll be forcefully removed. I'll say at least this isn't as weird as the Gary's Mod situation from last week, where after 20 years Nintendo was like, we should probably have that content taken down. It seems like Nintendo has been on a crusade lately. Maybe that's because they're getting ready to release another system and they don't want the same thing to happen with that system where it gets exploited and then people are sharing their games online. Obviously no one who makes a system wants that to happen because it can affect the software sales and negatively impact the system. But I guess we'll see if Nintendo's rampage continues. Alright, so in some not so good news, we have some more studio closures. So we talked about Take-Two, the parent company of Rockstar and 2K, doing some layoffs. Well, it's been confirmed that at least 2 studios are closing as a result. So it's been discovered by filings found by Bloomberg that Roll7 and Intercept Games will both be closing. Intercept Games was created by Take-Two in 2020 to manage Kerbal Space Program 2. And Roll7, they've been around for a while. 2K actually purchased them. They created Ali Ali and Ali Ali World, and most recently Rollerdrome. I actually started playing Rollerdrome last year, and it was a pretty cool game. It's kind of like Tony Hawk, but with rollerblades and guns. So it really sucks on a personal level because I was really hoping for a sequel to that game. I thought it had a lot of potential. As always, I really hope everyone affected by these layoffs and these closures get back on their feet soon. Alright, I need a break from this bad news. And the Slurpee, that sounds really good right now. And so does a 7-Eleven and Tetris collab? What the? So 7-Eleven has dabbled in gaming for a long time. They even started selling games for a while, but now they've hooked up with Tetris and they're releasing a $30 Tetris handheld, which it's literally half of a Slurpee cup with controls in the screen. I mean, I get it, but they could have made it a bit more ergonomic. Like typically, you don't hold a Slurpee the same way you hold a gaming handheld. Even the promotional picture looks awkward. But you know what? I'm here to deliver the news. But I'm also here to answer questions. Now the first one, of course, is why. I don't have an answer to that one. But the most important one is, am I going to buy one? And the answer is, I have to. It looks so bad, I can't resist. Now, unfortunately, I have to go to a 7-Eleven, but I'm sure it won't be that bad. Find me a 7-Eleven that's not hood.
Something that's impossible can't be done.
You know what? I'll be fine. It seems like a lot of people have been diving into hell lately. And Helldivers too, of course. And in fact, let's just go ahead and talk about it in our final story. So if you haven't heard of Helldivers 2, it's a really popular multiplayer PoE game that's a PlayStation exclusive on console, but it's also available on PC, and that's the version of the game we're talking about today. The game has been very well received. Personally, I own it on PC, but I haven't played it because I have no friends. But either way, people have loved the game up until recently. So Sony has decided to force people on the PC version of the game to link a PSN account. They're claiming that this is for improved security, basically for people not following the rules. Well, players on PC, they mad. So the game has been getting review bombed on Steam because of this change. And there's a couple of reasons that people may not want to create a PSN account for the game. One, of course, is just having another account on top of your Steam account for one game. It's annoying, especially if you don't already have a PSN account. Second is you have to trust Sony with your data, and they haven't had the best track record when it comes to, like, you know, getting hacked and data leaks and stuff like that. Arrowhead, the game's developers, basically said that Sony's tools will allow them to better manage security and complaints, and it's Sony's IP, so technically they own the game. It's also pointed out in the IGN article that the account linking was originally required, but the game experienced a lot of server issues at launch due to its unexpected popularity on PC, and they removed it, and now they've added it back 3 months later. Now, I can see both sides of the argument. There are a lot of games that require you to make an account. I don't like it personally, but it's usually not the end of the world. But let me know how you feel about this Helldivers 2 PSN account fiasco down in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close, but if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button thing to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time.